Welcome back to Moon Temple. Today has been a wonderful day. I have received some very positive feedback from yous about the benefits of Zen stories. Those of you who joined us in the previous video have already experienced the amazing difference these stories can make. With many reporting the deepest sleep they have had in years, tonight's journey is going to be even more wonderful. As we prepare to embark on this journey into your inner sanctuary, you will discover stories and reflections designed to guide you to unshakable peace and deep rest. Imagine a quiet space within you, untouched by the demands of today, a place where serenity reigns eternally. Tonight, we will journey into the sanctuary, shedding the burden of our worries and embracing the stillness that awaits. Picture yourself now, not in your room, but standing at the edge of a vast, still lake. The moon, a perfect luminous pearl, hangs suspended above, casting a shimmering path across the dark water. A soft breeze whispers through the reeds, carrying the scent of night-blooming jasmine. Your shoulders, which perhaps have been carrying the weight of the day, begin to soften. Your jaw, often clenched, without you even realizing it, gently releases. This is a journey for your mind, your heart, and your spirit, inviting them all to finally truly rest. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I do here. And as you settle in, feel free to share your location and local time in the comments below. It's always a beautiful reminder of our shared journey across the globe. Now let's begin our journey together tonight. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of wet earth and distant cedar. You find yourself walking a narrow, winding path, barely visible beneath the canopy of ancient trees. Each step you take is soft, your feet almost gliding over the moss-covered stones. This isn't a path you chose with intention, but one that seems to unfurl before you, inviting you deeper into the quiet woods. As you move, you notice how the light filters through the leaves above, creating shifting patterns on the ground, like a constantly rearranging mosaic. There's no rush here, no destination calling loudly. The only sound is the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant murmur of a hidden stream. This path, this unseen path, is not marked on any map. It is the path of letting go, a subtle art that many speak of, but few truly practice. You might have heard the phrase letting go and thought of it as an action, a decision to release something specific. But as you walk this path, you begin to understand it differently. It's less about a forceful act and more about a gentle unclasping, a softening of your grip on the things you've been holding on to, perhaps without even realizing it. Consider the burdens you carry, not the physical ones, but the invisible weights that press down on your mind, the worries about tomorrow, the regrets about yesterday, the need for control, the opinions of others, the endless list of tasks. Each of these is a stone in a metaphorical bag, and with every step on this path, you are invited to lighten your load. You don't have to throw them away with force. Simply acknowledge them, observe them, and then without judgment, allow them to loosen their hold. Imagine a young monk, eager and earnest, who came to a wise Zen master. The monk was troubled by his own striving, his constant desire for perfection and enlightenment. He felt as though he was pushing against a stubborn current, always working, always trying to achieve peace. "Master," he pleaded, "how can I find the tranquility that eludes me? I meditate for hours. I study the scriptures. I strive for self-improvement, yet peace remains a distant shore. The master listened patiently, his eyes calm and deep like ancient pools. He then picked up a small smooth pebble from the garden path and placed it in the monk's open palm. Tell me, the master said, what happens if you hold this pebble tightly clenching your fist around it with all your might? The monk squeezed his hand, his knuckles turning white. My hand aches, master. It becomes stiff and tired. And if you hold it like that for hours, days, years, the master continued, my hand would become paralyzed, master, utterly useless. And the pebble, though small, would feel like a crushing weight. Precisely, the master replied, his voice soft as the evening breeze. And what happens if you simply open your hand? The monk, without thinking, relaxed his grip, and the pebble rested gently in his palm, light and unburdened. It is effortless, master. The pebble is still there, but my hand is free. This, the master said, looking into the monk's eyes, is the art of letting go. You do not need to throw the pebble away with force. You do not need to fight against its presence, so that simply open your hand. The striving, the pushing, the clenching. These are what cause the ache, the stiffness, the burden. Peace is not something you achieve by holding on tighter, but by gently loosening your grip on all that you believe you must hold. As the monk reflected on these words, a profound understanding dawned within him. He had been trying to grasp peace, to force it into his existence, when all along peace was the natural state that emerged when he stopped grasping everything else. He realized that the effort itself was the obstacle. True tranquility wasn't found in the act of gaining, but in the release of needing. You too can feel this release now. Allow your shoulders to drop a little further. Feel the subtle energy that has been holding them up and simply let it go. Imagine that pebble in your hand and feel the gentle release as your fingers slowly, softly uncurl. You are not losing anything of value. You are simply creating space, releasing the tension that prevents true rest. This journey on the unseen path is about unclasping your grip on the day, on your thoughts, on your striving, allowing yourself to simply be. In this allowance, the path unfolds, leading you effortlessly towards a state of profound peace, preparing your mind and body for the deepest sleep. As you continue your journey on the unseen path, the air grows cooler and a thin mist begins to rise from the forest floor, softening the edges of everything around you. The trees, once distinct, now blur into gentle silhouettes, their forms indistinct yet comforting. You walk with a sense of timelessness, each breath deep and even pulling the cool, clean air into your lungs. In the distance, carried on the mist-laden air, you hear it a soft, plaintive melody, like the distant cry of a bird, but more sustained, more resonant. It is the sound of a bamboo flute, its notes weaving through the silence, painting the air with a bittersweet beauty. This melody, so ethereal and fleeting, is a gentle reminder of impermanence. Every note that arises also fades, dissolving back into the silence from which it came. Yet even as one note vanishes, another appears, creating a continuous flow, a river of sound. This is the very nature of existence. Everything is in flux, constantly changing, appearing, and disappearing. Just like the mist that swirls around you, ever present yet never static, always shifting, always transforming. Imagine an old Zen story about a master and his favorite student who was deeply troubled by the loss of his beloved bamboo flute. This flute had been a gift from his own teacher, and its music had been a source of great comfort and inspiration. One day, while traveling, the student accidentally left it behind. He returned to the place, searching frantically, but the flute was gone. Overcome with sorrow, he sat by the roadside, tears streaming down his face. When the master found him, he asked, "My child, why do you weep?" The student, choked with emotion, explained the loss of his precious flute. The master listened, his gaze compassionate. Then he gently said, "Tell me, did the flute's melody to truly belong to you?" The student hesitated. "Yes, master. I played it, I composed with it. Its music was mine. But when you played, did the sound remain, or did it vanish into the air?" The master pressed. "It vanished, master, as all sounds do," the student replied, beginning to see. "And when you composed, did the inspiration stay bound to the flute, or did it flow through you, then dissipate?" "It flowed through me, then dissipated," the student whispered. The master then pointed to a small stream flowing nearby. "Look at the water, my child. It flows continuously, never holding onto a single drop. Each ripple, each current is born and then passes away, yet the stream remains. Is the stream sad that a particular ripple is gone? No. It simply continues to flow, ever fresh, ever new. Your flute, its music, even your sorrow, these are all like the ripples in the stream. They arise, they exist for a time, and then they pass. To cling to the idea that the flute should have stayed or that the melody should have lingered is to fight against the very nature of reality. True peace comes not from holding on to what was, but from embracing what is and acknowledging that everything, like the bamboo flute's echo, is beautiful in its fleetingness. The student looked at the stream, then back at his master. A profound sense of release washed over him. The sorrow didn't vanish instantly, but its sharp edges softened. He realized that the joy he had found in the flute's music was not dependent on the flute itself, but on his capacity to appreciate its transient beauty. The essence of the music, the feeling it evoked, was still within him, even if the instrument was gone. He stood up no longer burdened by his loss, but with a newfound understanding of life's constantly unfolding dance. As you listen to the echo of the bamboo flute, feel this understanding settle within you. The worries that arise in your mind, the emotions that sweep through your heart, they too are like these ephemeral notes. They appear, they resonate, and then they pass. You do not need to grasp them, to analyze them endlessly, or to fear their departure. Simply acknowledge their presence, allow them to play out their melody, and then release them back into the silence. This gentle awareness of impermanence is incredibly liberating. It frees you from the struggle of trying to hold on to fleeting moments of joy or resisting inevitable moments of sorrow. Instead, you learn to appreciate each moment for what it is, knowing it will transform, just like the mist, just like the music. Allow this understanding to wash over you, soothing any tension in your body, softening your brow, and preparing your mind to drift effortlessly into the deep, restorative sleep you deserve. Feel yourself becoming as fluid as the mist, as serene as the stream embracing the natural flow of existence. The mist deepens now, becoming a soft, luminous veil that wraps around you. The sounds of the forest grow even more subdued, as if muffled by an unseen hand. Your steps are almost silent on the moss, and the world feels hushed, reverent. Ahead through the swirling mist, a faint smooth outline begins to emerge. As you draw closer, its form becomes clear, a large ancient stone Buddha seated serenely amidst a grove of gnarled, silent trees. Its surface is weathered by centuries of sun and rain, yet its expression is one of profound, unwavering peace, a gentle, knowing smile that seems to encompass all of existence. This silent, enduring figure embodies the essence of inner stillness, a state of being that remains unshaken amidst life's constant storms. The stone Buddha has witnessed countless seasons, felt the bite of winter winds and the warmth of summer sun, yet its tranquil smile has never faltered. It stands as a testament to the fact that true peace isn't found in the absence of external disturbances, but in the cultivation of an inner sanctuary that no storm can breach. You might find yourself caught in the whirlwind of daily life, the urgent demands, the unexpected challenges, the relentless rush. These are the storms that threaten to unbalance us, to erode our sense of calm. We often believe that to find peace, we must eliminate these external pressures. But the stone Buddha teaches us a different path, not to escape the storm, but to become the still center within it. There's a story of a young villager who lived near a turbulent river. He often watched the water rage during floods, tearing at the banks and carrying away debris. He would pray for the river to become calm, for the storms to cease, so that he could finally feel at peace. One day he visited an old Zen master known for his profound serenity, even amidst the village's occasional troubles. "Jiz master," the villager asked, "how do you remain so calm when the world around us is so chaotic? I yearn for peace, but I feel tossed about like a leaf on a stormy river." The master smiled, his eyes twinkling like stars. He led the villager to a nearby garden where a large moss covered stone sat immovably in the center of a small pond. "Tell me," the master said, "does the water around this stone affect the stone itself? Does the wind that ripples the pond's surface disturb the stone's essence?" The villager looked intently. "No, master. The water may move, the wind may blow, but the stone remains firm. It is still no matter what happens around it. And yet," the master continued, "the stone does not fight the water or the wind. It simply is. It allows the elements to move around it without clinging or resisting. It does not try to control the pond, nor does it complain about the wind. It simply holds its own ground. Your mind, my child," the master explained, "can be like this stone. The storms of life, the worries, the anxieties, the frustrations are like the water and the wind. They will always be there in one form or another. If you try to control them, or if you wish them away, you will be perpetually agitated. But if you learn to become the still center, like this stone, observing the currents without being swept away by them, then you will find true inner stillness." The villager understood. He had been trying to calm the river when he should have been cultivating the strength of the stone within himself. He realized that peace wasn't about the absence of problems, but about his own unwavering presence amidst them. From that day on, he began to practice observing his thoughts and emotions, like watching the river flow without getting caught in the current. He learned to return to his own stillness, finding his unshakable peace, no matter what storms raged outside. As you gaze at the stone, Buddha, allow its serene smile to be a mirror for your own inner potential. Feel the solid grounding presence of the earth beneath you, supporting you completely. Imagine that unshakable core within your own being, a place of profound stillness and peace that no thought, no worry, no external circumstance can ever disturb. Just as the stone Buddha remains serene through all seasons, you too can cultivate this deep, quiet strength within. Let go of the need to control the outer world and instead settle into the profound, peaceful stillness of your inner sanctuary. Feel your body becoming heavy grounded and utterly relaxed, sinking deeper into the calm that paves the way for deep, restorative sleep. The mist has thinned slightly, yet the air remains cool and fresh. You walk on feeling a gentle pull, a subtle magnetism, drawing you deeper into this peaceful realm. The trees here are not uniform. Some stand tall and slender, others are gnarled and wide their branches, intertwining above like ancient arms reaching for the sky. You notice fine, delicate spider webs strung between branches glistening with tiny beads of dew, each strand connecting one point to another, creating an intricate, almost invisible network. This delicate yet strong web is a profound illustration of interconnectedness, reminding you that all of existence is woven together in a vast, beautiful tapestry. We often perceive ourselves as separate individuals, distinct from others and from the world around us. We focus on our own joys, our own sorrows, our own accomplishments, and our own struggles. But this perspective can be isolating, leading to feelings of loneliness or an overwhelming sense of responsibility. The concept of interconnectedness invites you to see beyond these perceived boundaries, to recognize that you are an integral thread in the grand design influencing and being influenced by everything else. Consider the story of a young weaver known for his beautiful, intricate tapestries. He spent countless hours working on a single piece, meticulously choosing each thread, carefully weaving it into the larger design. One day, a visitor came to his workshop and admired his work. "Your tapestries are magnificent," the visitor exclaimed. "But tell me, how do you decide which thread is the most important, which one carries the most significance in the overall beauty?" The weaver smiled gently. "There is no single most important thread," he explained. "Each thread, no matter how small or how seemingly insignificant, plays a vital role. The vibrant red thread relies on the subtle gray one next to it to make its color truly pop. The strong vertical threads provide the structure for the delicate horizontal ones. If even one thread were missing or broken, the entire tapestry would be flawed, its beauty diminished. Its strength would be compromised. The true beauty of the tapestry," of the weaver continued, "lies not in any single thread, but in the harmonious relationship between all of them. They support each other, enhance each other, and together they create something far greater and more beautiful than any individual thread could ever achieve." The visitor nodded, understanding dawning in his eyes. He had always focused on the individual threads of his own life, trying to make each one perfect, often feeling frustrated when one seemed out of place. He realized that true mastery wasn't about perfecting each isolated part, but about appreciating how every part contributed to the whole. This understanding is profoundly liberating. It helps you see that your own actions, however small, ripple outwards, affecting others and the world. And conversely, you are supported and shaped by the vast network of relationships and experiences around you. When you feel overwhelmed or alone, remember this tapestry. You are not an isolated thread. You are deeply, beautifully connected. The air you breathe, the ground beneath your feet, the distant sounds of nature, all are part of this intricate weave. This awareness can transform anxiety into a sense of belonging and loneliness into a feeling of universal connection. When you understand your place within this vast supportive network, the burdens you carry begin to lighten. You realize that you are part of something much larger, a grand design that is constantly unfolding. This sense of interconnectedness brings a deep and abiding peace, a comfort in knowing that you are never truly alone and that your own unique thread is essential to the completeness of the whole. As you breathe in deeply, now feel this connection. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest connected to the rhythmic breathing of all living things. Feel the support of the earth holding you connected to the very core of the planet. Let this realization of your deep connection to everything around you soothe any lingering tension. Allow yourself to feel completely supported, completely a part of this vast, peaceful universe. This profound sense of belonging gently guides you towards a state of deep relaxation, preparing you for restorative sleep, knowing you are a cherished part of the grand tapestry of existence. You continue to walk the path, now leading you toward a clearing where the mist hangs thickest, creating a sense of sacred enclosure. The air is still almost heavy with silence. Even the gentle rustle of leaves seems to have subsided, and the distant murmur of the stream is now imperceptible. In this profound quiet, you become acutely aware of the subtlest sounds, the soft thud of your own bare feet on the moss, the gentle in and out rhythm of your breath. This deep, enveloping silence invites you to discover peace in the quiet moments between thoughts, a state of being where the usual clamor of the mind simply fades away. In our waking lives, our minds are often like bustling marketplaces, filled with constant chatter, planning, analyzing, judging, remembering, worrying. This incessant internal dialogue can be exhausting, making it difficult to find a moment of true mental rest, even when our bodies are still. We often associate silence with emptiness or even discomfort, when in truth it is a gateway to profound insight and serenity. Consider the timeless story of a monk who sought guidance from a revered Zen master. The monk was diligent in his meditation practice, sitting for hours each day, but he felt frustrated. Master, he confessed, my mind is like a wild monkey. It leaps from thought to thought, never settling. Even in meditation, I hear its incessant chattering. How can I find the true silence, the silent bell that I have heard spoken of? The master listened, his gaze calm and unwavering. He picked up a small, smooth pebble from the ground and placed it gently on the monk's open palm. Tell me, he said, when you hold this pebble, do you hear its thoughts? The monk looked confused. Pebbles have no thoughts, master. Precisely, the master replied, and yet you are holding it. Do you hear the wind outside? Yes, master. Do you hear the distant bird song? Yes. Do you hear the soft beating of your own heart? The monk closed his eyes, concentrating. Yes, master. Faintly. All these sounds exist, the master explained, yet they do not disturb the pebble. The pebble is simply present, allowing all sounds to exist around it without becoming entangled in them. Your mind, too, can learn this stillness. The chatter of your thoughts is like the wind or the bird song. It arises, it passes. Your task is not to silence the monkey by force, but to become the still, silent listener like the pebble. The silent bell, the Master continued, is not a sound that can be heard with your ears. It is the profound quiet that emerges when you cease to chase after your thoughts or to push them away. It is the vast open space between the thoughts, the silent foundation upon which all mental activity rests. When you learn to rest in this space, even for a moment, you will discover a peace more profound than any sound, a stillness deeper than any ocean. Do not strive to silence the monkey. Simply turn your attention to the space around the monkeys, chattering to the quiet that was always there waiting. The monk sat in silence for a long time, contemplating the Master's words. He began to notice that even as thoughts arose, there were tiny gaps between them, moments of pure stillness. Before he had only focused on the thoughts themselves, feeling trapped by their incessant flow. Now he began to gently shift his awareness to those precious silent intervals. And in those moments, he found not emptiness, but a vast liberating peace, a sensation of his mind gently expanding and settling. As you stand in this quiet clearing, enveloped by the mist, allow yourself to experience this profound silence. Release the need to fill every moment with thought or sound. Let your attention gently rest on the spaces between your thoughts. Notice the natural pause at the end of an exhale before the next inhale begins. This tiny interval, this moment of suspended animation, is a glimpse of the silent bell within you. It is the place where true peace resides untouched by the day's events or the mind's endless narratives. Allow your mind to drift into this gentle, silent space. Feel your body becoming deeply relaxed, your muscles softening, your breath flowing easily. In this profound quiet, you are not empty but full of peace, full of rest, preparing your entire being to sink into the deepest, most rejuvenating sleep, nestled in the vast, serene silence of your inner sanctuary. As you emerge from the thickest part of the mist, the path opens slightly, and you find yourself beside a tranquil pond. The water is so still that it perfectly mirrors the sky above, creating an illusion of infinite depth. Floating serenely on its surface is a small empty boat tied loosely to a single reed. It drifts gently with the barely perceptible currents, not resisting, not striving, simply being. This boat, unburdened by cargo or a captain, is a powerful symbol for releasing the burden of expectation and attachment. We often navigate our lives as if we are rowing a heavily laden boat, piled high with expectations, expectations of ourselves, of others, of how life should unfold. We attach ourselves to outcomes, to possessions, to ideas of success or happiness, believing that if we can just hold on to these things tightly enough, we will be secure. But just like trying to control every ripple on the pond, this clinging creates tension, anxiety, and prevents us from truly experiencing the flow of life. There is a well-known Zen story about a master whose student was learning to row a boat. One day, while the student was meditating in his small boat in the middle of a lake, another empty boat, untethered, drifted and bumped into his. The student, annoyed, opened his eyes, ready to shout at the careless person who had let their boat loose. But when he saw it was empty, his anger immediately dissolved. There was no one to blame, no one to be angry at. Later, he recounted the experience to his master. The master smiled and said, "Do you see? When you meet an empty boat, you do not get angry. Learn to treat every person you encounter, every circumstance you face, as if it were an empty boat. Let go of your expectations of others, your attachments to how things should be, and the burden of your own rigid demands. When you encounter situations with the understanding that there is no one there to blame, no intentional malice, simply the natural unfolding of events, your anger and frustration will dissipate just as quickly. The student pondered this. He realized how much of his daily suffering came from his own expectations of his fellow monks, of the weather, of his own meditation progress. He expected people to act a certain way, expected his plans to go smoothly, expected his mind to be still. When these expectations were unmet, he felt a surge of irritation or disappointment. By viewing these situations as empty boats, things that simply are without malice or intent behind them, he could release his resistance. This practice is not about becoming passive or uncaring. It's about recognizing that many of the burdens we carry are self imposed through our attachments. When we attach to the outcome, we suffer if the outcome isn't what we desired. When we attach to an idea, we suffer if that idea is challenged. When we attach to a specific person's behavior, we suffer when they act differently. But if we can learn to simply observe, to let things unfold as they will, like the empty boat drifting freely on the water, then we are no longer weighed down. As you look at the empty boat on the pond, feel a profound sense of release. Imagine handing over all your expectations, all your attachments to this boat. See them gently placed inside, and then watch as the boat, now a little lighter, drifts further out onto the tranquil water, carrying those burdens away from you. This is not about giving up your dreams or hopes, but about releasing the rigid grip on how they must come to pass. It's about trusting the flow, embracing the present moment without demanding it be different. Allow your mind to become as open and spacious as the pond, reflecting everything without holding on to anything. Feel the gentle release of your own expectations, the softening of any rigid beliefs you hold. With each slow, deep breath, imagine yourself becoming lighter, freer like the empty boat. This profound release of burden washes over you, creating a deep sense of peace that permeates every cell of your body, preparing you to surrender completely to the soothing embrace of deep, restorative sleep. Leaving the tranquil pond behind the path now leads you through a small, meticulously cared for garden. Here, every stone is placed with intention, every plant pruned with respect. The air carries the delicate scent of green tea, warm and earthy. You see a humble hut, and as you approach, you hear the soft, rhythmic sounds of preparation, the clinking of pottery, the gentle whisking of tea. This is where a monk is performing a tea ceremony, an act of profound mindfulness that reveals how even the simplest everyday actions can be transformed into a source of profound calm. In our busy lives, we often rush through daily tasks, treating them as mere means to an end rather than opportunities for presence. We eat quickly, walk briskly, and perform chores with our minds already on the next thing. This constant future orientation robs us of the richness of the present moment and prevents us from finding true peace in our everyday existence. The Zen tea ceremony, however, is a deliberate counterpoint to this rushed approach, teaching us to infuse every action with conscious awareness. There's a beautiful story about a young samurai warrior who, despite his immense skill and discipline on the battlefield, found himself restless and agitated in his daily life. He sought out a renowned Zen master, hoping to find the secret to inner peace. Master, he said, I can face my enemies with courage, but I cannot quiet the turmoil within my own mind. How can I achieve true serenity? The master, instead of offering an immediate answer, invited the samurai to observe him perform a tea ceremony. The samurai watched, fascinated. The master moved with exquisite grace, his every gesture deliberate and unhurried. He purified the utensils with focused attention, heated the water with precision, whisked the tea with gentle rhythmic strokes, and served it with profound respect. Each action was complete in itself, without haste or distraction. When the ceremony was finished, the master handed the samurai a bowl of freshly prepared tea. Drink this, he said, with the same attention you used to observe. The samurai took the bowl, inhaled the warm aroma, felt the smooth ceramic against his hands, and tasted the subtle bitterness and sweetness of the tea. For the first time in a long while, his mind was entirely in the present moment, absorbed in the simple act of drinking. After a moment, the master spoke again. The way of peace, my young friend, is not found only on the meditation cushion or in grand endeavors. It is found in the way you chop wood, carry water, or as you have just seen prepare tea. When you engage in any everyday action with complete mindfulness, when your mind is fully present with your hands, your senses, your breath, then that action becomes a meditation. The inner turmoil arises when your mind is somewhere else, in the past and the future, judging, regretting, or desiring. But when you are fully here, fully now, there is no space for disturbance. This is how you cultivate profound calm in your daily life. The samurai, though accustomed to grand lessons of strategy and combat, realized the profound simplicity of the master's teaching. He began to apply this mindfulness to all his activities, from polishing his sword to simply walking. He discovered that the same focus he brought to battle could be brought to every ordinary moment, transforming his agitation into a deep sense of presence and peace. He found that true serenity was not a goal to be achieved, but a state of being cultivated through conscious engagement with life itself. As you stand near the humble hut inhaling the subtle scent of the tea, allow yourself to feel this quiet presence. Imagine taking a simple action in your own life, perhaps brushing your teeth, washing a dish, or simply walking to another room. Instead of rushing through it, bring your full attention to it. Feel the texture, notice the sounds, observe the sensations. This is not about making tasks longer, but about making them richer, more fully lived. With each breath, invite your mind to settle into the present moment. Feel the weight of your body, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Let the soft, earthy scent of tea permeate your senses, grounding you deeply. By practicing mindfulness in everyday actions, you cultivate a continuous flow of profound calm, a peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances, but springs from your own awakened presence. Allow this deep calm to wash over you, relaxing every muscle, quieting every thought, guiding you effortlessly towards a night of deep, peaceful sleep. Leaving the peaceful tea garden behind, the path now descends gently, leading you to the bank of a gentle river. Its waters flow with an unhurried grace, murmuring softly as they pass over smooth stones and ancient roots. The surface shimmers with the reflection of the sky, subtly shifting with every passing cloud, every leaf that drifts downstream. This river, always moving, always adapting, is a perfect metaphor for flowing with change and finding profound acceptance. Life, like this river, is in constant motion. Nothing stays the same. Seasons change circumstances, evolve, people come and go, and our own bodies and minds are continually transforming. Yet we often resist this inherent flow, wishing for things to remain as they are or to be different from what they are. This resistance is a major source of our suffering, creating friction against the natural current of existence. Consider the story of an old fisherman who lived by a powerful river. He was known for his calm demeanor, no matter how the river behaved. One day, a young, ambitious merchant came to him distressed because his trade routes were constantly disrupted by change in the river's currents and sudden floods. "Old one," the merchant lamented, "how can you remain so peaceful when this river is so unpredictable? I try to control it, to foresee its every shift, but it always defies me, and I am exhausted by the struggle." The fisherman, mending his nets with slow, deliberate movements, looked up and smiled. "My young friend," he said, "you are trying to command the river when you should be learning from it. Does the river fight against the rocks in its path? No, it flows around them. Does it resist the narrowing of its banks? No, it adapts its speed and depth. When a tree falls into its waters, does it stop flowing? No, it carries the tree onward, or it flows over it, or it finds a new path. The river does not cling to its past form, nor does it demand a specific future path. It simply flows. It embraces whatever comes, integrates it, and continues its journey. This is the secret to acceptance. You cannot control the river of life, just as you cannot control the weather or the actions of others. But you can learn to flow with it. When challenges arise, instead of resisting, ask yourself, how can I flow around this? How can I adapt to this change? What new path can I find? The merchant paused, considering the fisherman's words. He had always seen himself as battling against life's currents, trying to impose his will upon them. He now understood that true peace wasn't found in conquering the river, but in becoming like the river. He realized that the fisherman's nets were not about trapping the river, but about working with its natural movement. From that day on, the merchant began to observe the changes in his business, not as obstacles to be fought, but as currents to be navigated. He learned to adapt his strategies, to let go of rigid plans, and to trust that by flowing with change, he would ultimately reach his desired destination, even if the path was different than he initially imagined. This newfound flexibility brought him immense relief and a deep sense of inner calm. As you sit by this gentle river, feel its effortless movement. Notice how it embraces everything that enters its waters, without judgment or struggle. Let this image deeply soothe your mind. Think of any areas in your life where you might be resisting change, where you're holding on to an old way of being or a past situation. Imagine those resistances as small stones in the riverbed and see the water gently flowing around them, transforming their sharp edges into smooth, round forms over time. Allow your breath to become as fluid and continuous as the river's flow. With each exhale, release any lingering tension or resistance in your body. Feel your muscles softening, your mind easing as you surrender to the natural current of life. This profound acceptance of what is this willingness to flow with change creates an immense sense of ease and profound peace within you. It prepares you to drift effortlessly into the deep, restorative sleep that awaits carried by the gentle current of your own peaceful being. The river's gentle murmur gradually fades behind you as the path begins to ascend slightly. You find yourself in a grove of magnificent trees, their branches laden with thick emerald leaves that shimmer in the soft, diffused light. Among them, one tree stands out, a majestic willow, its long, slender branches gracefully sweeping towards the ground, creating a private, secluded haven. It moves with every whisper of the wind, bending deeply, yet never breaking. This wisdom of the willow teaches a profound lesson about bending without breaking, revealing the power of resilience in peace. In life, we often encounter strong forces, unexpected challenges, critical remarks, the demands of others, or even our own rigid expectations. Our natural inclination might be to resist, to stand firm and unyielding, hoping to withstand the pressure. However, this rigid stance often leads to snapping, to emotional exhaustion, or to profound disappointment when life doesn't conform to our will. The willow offers a different, more graceful way. Imagine a young Zen gardener who prided himself on his perfectly manicured bamboo grove. He spent hours ensuring each stalk stood perfectly straight, never swaying too much. One day, a fierce storm swept through the region. The gardener watched in dismay as his beloved bamboo, despite its strength, snapped under the force of the wind. Yet when the storm passed, he noticed a nearby willow tree, which had been in his garden for centuries, stood untouched. Its branches, which had swayed and dipped almost to the ground, now gracefully lifted back into place, seemingly unharmed. Confused, the gardener approached his master. "Master," he said, "my bamboo, which is so strong, has broken, while the willow, which seems so delicate, endured. How is this possible?" The master, observing the willow, replied, "The bamboo is strong in its rigidity. It resists the wind, refusing to bend. But when the force is too great, it shatters. The willow, however, possesses a different kind of strength, the strength of flexibility. It does not fight the wind, it bends with it. It allows the force to pass through it, yielding to the pressure, absorbing its energy, and then gracefully returning to its original form once the storm has passed. In life, too," the master continued, "there will be many winds that blow criticism, loss unexpected difficulties. If you meet them with rigidity, insisting that things must be a certain way, you risk breaking. But if you learn the wisdom of the willow to bend without breaking, you will find true resilience in peace. This means allowing yourself to adapt, to let go of your need for control, to be flexible in your thoughts and actions. It does not mean weakness, it means an inner strength that allows you to withstand pressure without fracturing your spirit. When you bend, you learn. When you yield, you grow stronger in your capacity to endure." The gardener understood. He had been trying to force life to be straight and unmoving like his bamboo. He now saw that true strength lay in fluidity, in the capacity to adapt and embrace change without losing one's essence. From that day, he began to cultivate not just his garden, but his own spirit, learning to respond to life's challenges with the adaptable grace of the willow, finding a new depth of peace and resilience. As you stand beneath the spreading branches of this wise old willow, feel its profound stillness amidst its gentle movement. Imagine any areas in your own life where you might be holding on too rigidly, resisting what is. Allow the image of the willow to guide you. Feel your own body softening, releasing any tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your belly. Imagine yourself becoming as flexible as the willow's branches, capable of bending deeply with the winds of life, yet always returning to your peaceful center. Let this feeling of adaptable strength settle deep within you. Realize that true peace is not a fragile state that must be protected from external forces, but a resilient core that allows you to move with life's currents without being swept away. This understanding brings a deep sense of security and profound rest. Allow your entire being to relax into this newfound resilience, preparing you for a night of deep, undisturbed sleep, wrapped in the comforting embrace of unshakable peace. The willow's embrace slowly releases you as the path continues, now leading you to a clearing where the trees thin, allowing more of the twilight sky to show through. As dusk deepens, tiny pinpricks of light begin to appear in the gloom, dancing and flickering with an ethereal glow. These are fireflies illuminating the fading light with their fleeting, gentle luminescence. Each flash, however brief, captures your attention, a perfect embodiment of embracing the fleeting beauty of the present. In our lives, we often chase after grand experiences, long-term goals, or perfect moments, sometimes overlooking the small, exquisite details that make up the tapestry of our daily existence. We might dismiss a quiet evening, a simple meal, or a brief moment of connection as insignificant, waiting for something bigger or better. But like the firefly's light, these moments are precious precisely because they are fleeting. There's a story of a young monk who was struggling with impatience. He always felt he needed to be doing something important, achieving great spiritual insights, or preparing for some future enlightenment. He found it hard to simply be in the present moment, especially during mundane tasks. He often felt restless, craving a profound experience to solidify his understanding. One evening he was sweeping the temple courtyard, his mind drifting to grand philosophical questions, when the master approached him. The master noticed the monk's distracted sweeping and then pointed to a single firefly that had just pulsed its light near a dew-kissed leaf. "Look," the master whispered, "how beautiful." The monk paused, observing the tiny creature. It glowed for a moment, then went dark, only to reappear a moment later, a little further away. "It is beautiful, master," he agreed, "but its light is so brief, so fleeting. It hardly lasts." The master nodded. "Indeed. And yet does the firefly lament the brevity of its glow? Does it refuse to shine because its light will soon vanish? No, it simply shines. It offers its complete luminescence to that single moment without clinging to its past flicker or worrying about its next. And in that complete giving of itself to the now, it creates perfect beauty. Your life, my young friend," the master continued, "is also made up of countless such fleeting moments. A single breath, a shared smile, the taste of your food, the touch of the broom against the stones. If you constantly look away, searching for a greater light, you will miss the extraordinary beauty of the ordinary. True peace and contentment are found not in chasing after a permanent, dazzling light, but in learning to appreciate and embrace the fleeting beauty of each present moment, just as it is." The monk looked at the firefly again, then at the master, and a quiet realization settled within him. He had been so focused on the grand, continuous light of enlightenment that he had overlooked the brilliant, ephemeral sparks of life, happening all around him all the time. He picked up his broom again, but this time his attention was fully present. He felt the rough wood of the handle, heard the soft swish of the bristles against the stone, and noticed the cool evening air on his skin. Each sweep of the broom became a complete act, a tiny perfect moment, like the flash of a firefly. His restlessness began to dissolve, replaced by a profound sense of peaceful presence. As you stand in this firefly lit clearing, allow your eyes to softly focus on their gentle blinks of light. Feel the quiet wonder of these ephemeral illuminations. Release the need to rush, to plan, to analyze. Instead, simply be here now, breathing in the cool night air, witnessing the soft dance of light. Notice the subtle sensations in your body, the quiet hum of the night, the profound simplicity of just existing in this very moment. This mindful appreciation of the present, however fleeting, brings a deep sense of calm. It grounds you, pulling your awareness away from anxieties about the future or regrets about the past, and anchoring you firmly in the only moment that truly exists. Let this awareness of fleeting beauty settle deeply within you, softening your gaze, easing your breath, and allowing your entire being to surrender to the comforting stillness that invites the most profound and restful sleep. The firefly's gentle dance fades as a new soft sound begins to fill the air, a subtle drumming growing steadily. It is the sound of rain beginning as a whisper on the leaves, then gradually deepening into a rhythmic patter against the forest floor. You find yourself under the partial shelter of a large ancient tree, listening to the soothing melody of the falling water. This omnipresent sound, cleansing and nurturing, offers a profound invitation to find comfort and serenity in natural rhythms. In our modern lives, we often perceive rain as an inconvenience, something that disrupts our plans or dampens our spirits. We might rush to seek shelter or complain about the gray skies. Yet for centuries, cultures have revered rain as a source of life renewal and profound calm. Its unhurried, consistent rhythm offers a unique opportunity to connect with a primal sense of peace, reminding us of the steady, unwavering pulse of nature. There's a story of a busy Zen monk who lived in a bustling city temple. He was constantly distracted by the sounds of carts, rumbling merchants calling out, and the general cacophony of urban life. He found it difficult to focus on his meditation, always yearning for the quiet of a mountain retreat. One day, a heavy downpour began trapping everyone indoors. The monk sighed, anticipating hours of restless confinement. However, his elderly master, known for his ability to find peace anywhere, simply sat by an open window, listening intently to the rain. He then spoke to the young monk. "Tell me, what do you hear?" "Only the rain, master." The monk replied, a hint of impatience in his voice. "It is relentless." "And what does the rain do?" the master asked gently. "It falls," said the monk. "It wets the ground, cleanses the air." "Does it rush? Does it hesitate? Does it judge where it falls?" the master inquired. The monk thought for a moment. "No, master. It simply falls consistently, without effort or complaint." "Precisely," the master affirmed. "The sound of rain is a perfect teacher. It reminds us of life's natural rhythm. It comes when it comes, it falls where it falls. It is neither good nor bad. It simply is. When you resist the sound, when you wish for it to stop, you create inner turmoil." But when you find comfort in its rhythm, when you allow its presence to simply be, then its very persistence becomes a source of serenity. The master then closed his eyes, and the young monk watched as a deep calm settled over him, seeming to merge with the steady patter of the rain. The monk decided to try this himself. Instead of wishing the rain away, he began to truly listen. He noticed the myriad textures of its sound, the soft drip, drip, drip from the eaves, the gentle shush on the leaves, the steady tap, tap, tap on the wooden floor. He focused on the consistent rhythm, the natural cadence. Slowly, his mind, which had been racing, began to slow down. The external sounds of the city faded, replaced by the encompassing rhythmic presence of the rain. He found a profound sense of peace, not despite the rain, but because of it. As you stand under the sheltering tree, feel the cool, fresh air invigorated by the rain. Let its steady rhythm wash over you, cleansing your thoughts, soothing your mind. Imagine the rain gently rinsing away any lingering worries, any tension in your shoulders or your jaw. Allow your breath to synchronize with its natural cadence, slow and deep, mirroring the unhurried flow of the water. This act of finding comfort and serenity in natural rhythms allows you to tap into a deeper sense of peace that is always available, independent of external circumstances. It reminds you that just as nature finds its balance, so too can you find yours. Let the soothing sound of the rain lull your senses, calming your nervous system and guiding your entire being into a state of profound relaxation, preparing you for the deepest, most rejuvenating sleep. The gentle patter of the rain begins to soften, gradually fading as you walk further, the air now feeling washed clean and cool. The path widens into an open space, revealing a serene, illuminated landscape. The clouds have parted, and the moonlight bathes a meticulously arranged garden in a soft, silvery glow. Every leaf, every blossom, every smooth stone is etched with a luminous clarity, creating a scene of breathtaking tranquility. This moonlight garden is a sanctuary for cultivating compassion for self and others, a gentle space where understanding and kindness can flourish. Often in our hurried lives, we forget to extend the same kindness and understanding to ourselves that we might readily offer to a friend. We can be our own harshest critics, holding on to self-judgment and past mistakes, which creates a deep sense of unease. Similarly, when we struggle to understand the actions or perspectives of others, our connections can fray, leading to conflict or isolation. The moonlight garden, with its gentle illumination, invites us to see ourselves and others with a softer, more forgiving light. Consider the story of a young Zen student who came to his master distraught. He confessed that he was constantly critical of himself, feeling he never meditated enough, never understood deeply enough, and was constantly failing to live up to the rigorous demands of monastic life. He also found himself frequently frustrated by the perceived shortcomings of his fellow students. Master, he despaired, how can I ever find peace when I am so full of judgment, both for myself and for others? The master listened patiently, then invited the student to join him in the temple's moonlight garden. As they sat together, bathed in the soft silver light, the master spoke. Look at this garden, he said, gesturing to the illuminated plants and stones. In the harsh light of midday, every imperfection, every withered leaf, every speck of dust is starkly visible. We see only what is wrong, what needs fixing. But in the gentle light of the moon, he continued, The sharp edges soften, the shadows deepen, highlighting the beauty of the form, the resilience of the plants. The imperfections recede, and the overall harmony of the garden is revealed. Does the moonlight judge the withered leaf? Does it condemn the misplaced stone? No. It simply bathes everything in its calm, accepting glow, revealing the inherent beauty that is always present, even amidst flaws. In the same way, the Master explained, when you cultivate compassion, you learn to view yourself and others with the gentle light of the moon rather than the harsh glare of judgment. For yourself, acknowledge your efforts, your intentions, and your inherent worth, just as the moonlight accepts every part of the garden. For others, remember that just like you, they are doing their best, struggling with their own challenges, often hidden from view. See them not through the lens of your expectations or frustrations, but through the soft light of understanding and empathy. The student gazed at the garden, suddenly seeing it as if for the first time. The moonlight did indeed transform everything, revealing a subtle, quiet beauty he had never noticed in the daytime. He realized he had been shining a harsh, critical light on himself and others, always looking for flaws. Now he began to practice softening his gaze, both inward and outward. He found that as he extended compassion to himself, his self criticism quieted, and as he extended it to others, his frustrations began to dissolve, replaced by a deeper sense of connection and peace. As you sit in this serene moonlight garden, allow its gentle illumination to wash over you. Feel a warmth of kindness spread through your chest, first for yourself. Acknowledge your journey, your efforts, your inherent goodness. Release any self-judgment, allowing yourself to be imperfectly perfect, just as you are. Then extend that same gentle light to anyone with whom you might feel tension or misunderstanding. Imagine bathing them in this compassionate moonlight, softening your perception of their actions, understanding their humanity. This cultivation of compassion for self and others brings an immense sense of inner peace and profound healing. It dissolves the barriers that create friction and stress, replacing them with understanding and acceptance. Allow this compassionate energy to permeate your entire being, relaxing your mind, soothing your emotions, and gently guiding you into the deepest, most peaceful sleep held in the soft, loving embrace of the moonlight garden. The soft light of the moonlight garden slowly recedes as you follow a narrow, winding path that leads you to a secluded, minimalist dwelling. It is a simple hermitage built of unadorned wood and straw, designed for the utmost economy. Inside, you notice a single plain wooden table, a thin mat for sleeping, and a humble shelf holding only a few essential items. Among them sits a beautifully crafted yet unornamented monk's bowl, its smooth, unglazed surface hinting at countless meals shared in quiet contemplation. This simple bowl embodies the profound teachings of simplicity and contentment as direct paths to inner wealth. In our world, we are often driven by the pursuit of more possessions, more experiences, more accomplishments. We believe that an accumulation of external things will lead to happiness and fulfillment. However, this endless striving often leaves us feeling restless, never quite satisfied, and always chasing the next desire. The monk's bowl reminds us that true richness lies not in what we accumulate, but in what we release, and in the profound contentment found in having just enough. There is a timeless story of a wealthy merchant who, despite his vast fortune, was constantly burdened by worry and a sense of dissatisfaction. He owned many houses, carriages, and exquisite garments, yet he found no lasting peace. He heard of a wise Zen monk who lived a life of extreme simplicity, possessing only a few robes and a single monk's bowl, yet radiated an extraordinary sense of contentment. Intrigued, the merchant sought out the monk. Yes, master, the merchant asked. I have everything a man could desire, yet my mind is never at ease. You have so little, yet you seem to possess true happiness. What is your secret? The monk smiled gently. He picked up his plain wooden bowl. Tell me, esteemed merchant, he began, when I am hungry and this bowl holds warm rice, is it not perfect for satisfying my hunger? Yes, master, the merchant agreed. It serves its purpose well, and when I am thirsty and this bowl holds cool water, does it not quench my thirst? Indeed, master, when I have finished my meal, the monk continued, and this bowl is empty, does it not? Then simply rest. Does it demand more? Does it worry about what it will hold tomorrow? Does it compare itself to the gilded plates in your mansion? The merchant had to admit, no, master. It simply rests empty and still. This bowl, the monk explained, is a teacher. It shows me that true wealth is not in the accumulation of many things, but in the sufficiency of what I have exactly when I need it. When I am hungry, this bowl is full. When my hunger is satisfied, it becomes empty, ready for the next moment, without clinging to the last or desiring the next. My mind too is like this bowl. When it is full of purpose, it serves. When that purpose is complete, it empties ready for the stillness. This simplicity is my liberation. This contentment with just enough is my true fortune. The merchant looked at the humble bowl with new eyes. He realized he had been trying to fill an endless emptiness within himself with external possessions, while the monk found fullness in the very act of satisfying basic needs and then letting go. He began to understand that true inner wealth lay not in external abundance, but in an internal state of peace and sufficiency. From that day on, the merchant began to simplify his life, focusing on genuine needs rather than endless desires, and slowly he discovered the deep peace that comes with contentment. As you contemplate the monk's bowl, allow its quiet wisdom to settle within you. Reflect on areas in your own life where you might be seeking more, perhaps unknowingly. Imagine gently placing any sense of lack or dissatisfaction into this bowl and then watch it empty, leaving behind a feeling of sufficiency and gratitude for what you already have. Embrace the profound elegance of having just enough, recognizing the deep peace that blossoms from releasing the burden of constant wanting. Feel your body relaxing into the sense of simplicity and contentment. Let go of the need for anything more than this moment of peaceful rest. Your breath deepens your muscles, soften, and your mind quiets, settling into a state of profound ease. This acceptance of just enough guides you effortlessly into a night of deep, undisturbed sleep, cradled by the profound inner wealth of peace. Leaving the hermitage and its lesson of simplicity, the path begins to ascend more noticeably, now growing steeper with each gentle step. The trees thin out, giving way to open sky, and the air becomes crisp and clean. Ahead, rising majestically against the twilight canvas, stands a towering mountain, its ancient peaks reaching towards the heavens, its base deeply rooted in the earth. This mountain's steadfastness offers a powerful lesson in grounding yourself in unshakable peace, revealing a profound stability that endures through all changes. In our daily lives, we often feel tossed about by external circumstances, our moods and inner states shifting with every perceived success or failure, every compliment or criticism. We seek stability, but often look for it in fleeting external conditions. The mountain, however, teaches us that true stability, true unshakable peace, is an internal quality, a core of stillness that remains unaffected by the winds of change. Consider the story of a young Zen practitioner who was constantly striving to attain a state of perfect inner calm. He would meditate for long hours, but his mind felt like a restless bird flitting from one thought to another. He would experience moments of peace, but they were often fleeting, easily disturbed by the slightest external noise or internal worry. He went to his master frustrated by his inability to maintain a consistent state of tranquility. Sisabet Master, he sighed, my peace is fragile. It is easily broken by the slightest disturbance. How can I find the kind of unshakable peace that I read about in the ancient texts? The master smiled, his eyes reflecting the deep wisdom of years. He led the student to a window overlooking a vast, towering mountain in the distance. Look at that mountain, the master said. Does it complain when the wind howls? Does it worry when the clouds gather? Does it feel diminished when a tiny stream erodes a small part of its base? The student looked intently. No, master, it simply stands. Precisely, the master affirmed. The mountain endures all seasons, all weathers, all geological shifts, yet its essence remains. It is rooted deep within the earth, connected to something vast and unchanging. It does not resist the wind, nor does it cling to the sunlight. It simply is vast, stable, and profoundly peaceful. Your mind too can learn to be like this mountain, the master continued. The winds and storms of life, your thoughts, your emotions, the external events, they will always arise and pass. If you identify with them, if you allow yourself to be carried away by every gust, your peace will be fragile. But if you learn to ground yourself in your own inner stillness, if you connect to the vast, unchanging awareness that is your true nature, then you become like the mountain. You observe the passing weather without being swept away by it. You find your center unshaken by the outer world. The student gazed at the mountain, and a profound realization settled within him. He had been trying to control the weather around him when he should have been cultivating the mountain within himself. He began to understand that true unshakable peace was not about eliminating disturbances, but about discovering an unwavering core within himself that no disturbance could touch. From that day on, he began to practice mindfulness, bringing his attention back to his breath and his inner stillness, imagining himself as vast and stable as the mountain, no matter what thoughts or feelings arose. As you stand beneath the vast sky, feeling the cool air on your face, allow yourself to feel the magnificent, unwavering presence of the mountain. Imagine its ancient solid base extending deep into the earth, anchoring it in timeless stillness. Now gently bring that image into your own body. Feel your feet firmly rooted to the ground, connected to the earth's stable core. Imagine a strong, peaceful core within your own being, a place of profound stillness and strength that is immune to the day's worries or anxieties. With each breath, draw in the steadfastness of the mountain. Feel your shoulders relax your chest, expand your entire being, settling into this deep sense of grounding. Let go of any remaining tension, allowing yourself to become as vast and unmovable as the mountain itself. This deep connection to your inner stability brings an immense sense of security and profound rest, preparing you to surrender completely to the soothing embrace of deep, restorative sleep held firmly in your unshakable peace. As you descend from the mountain's serene heights, the air around you seems to hum with a newfound lightness. The path levels out, winding through a meadow dotted with wildflowers, their colors muted by the soft twilight. From somewhere close by, a sweet melodic sound floats on the evening breeze, the pure, unburdened song of a bird. Its simple, effortless tune, rising and falling, invites you to attune to the natural harmony within and around you. In our noisy, fast paced world, we often become desensitized to the subtle harmonies that constantly surround us. We might block out the sounds of nature, override our body's natural rhythms, or ignore the quiet wisdom of our own intuition. This disconnect can lead to a feeling of being out of sync, a disharmony within ourselves. The bird's song, however, serves as a gentle reminder to pause, listen, and realign with the inherent balance that exists in all things. There's a beautiful Zen story about a young scholar who was highly educated, well versed in philosophy and scripture, but deeply anxious. He struggled with constant self doubt and felt a pervasive sense of disharmony in his life. He came to an old Zen master hoping for a complex teaching that would unravel his inner turmoil. Master, the scholar began, I have studied many profound texts, yet I cannot find true peace. My mind is filled with discord. How can I bring harmony to my life? The master, instead of offering a lecture, simply sat silently. After a moment, a tiny bird landed on a branch just outside the window and began to sing. Its melody was simple, yet utterly captivating. The master gestured towards the bird. Do you hear it? He asked. The scholar listened intently. Yes, master. It is a beautiful song. Does the bird try to sing a different song than the one it is meant to sing? The master inquired. Does it compare its melody to that of another bird? Does it worry about whether its notes are good enough? The scholar pondered this. No, master, he replied. It simply sings its own song effortlessly. Exactly, the master affirmed. The bird's song is a perfect expression of natural harmony. It is complete in itself, authentic, and without effort. It does not strive, it simply expresses. Your own life, your own being, also possesses a unique and beautiful harmony. The discord you feel arises when you try to sing a song that is not yours, when you compare yourself to others, or when you resist your own natural rhythm. To find true peace, the master continued, you must learn to attune to the natural harmony within and around you. Listen to the quiet rhythm of your own breath, the subtle whispers of your intuition, the inherent wisdom of your body, and listen to the world around you, the rustle of leaves, the distant stream, the very air you breathe. When you listen deeply without judgment or resistance, you begin to align with the universal flow. Your anxieties quiet, and you discover that the peace you seek is not something to be acquired, but something to be remembered, a melody that was always present within you, waiting to be heard. The scholar accustomed to intellectual answers found himself profoundly moved by the master's simple wisdom. He realized he had been so busy trying to orchestrate a perfect symphony of his life that he had forgotten to listen to the inherent melody already playing. From that day on, he began to practice deep listening, both to the world around him and to the quiet promptings of his own inner self. He found that as he attuned to these natural rhythms, his inner disharmony began to dissolve, replaced by a profound sense of peace and rightness. As you listen to the distant sweet bird's song, now allow its effortless melody to wash over you. Feel its pure, unburdened joy. Imagine your own inner being resonating with this natural harmony. Let go of any striving, any feeling that you need to be different or do more. Simply be here now, attuned to the gentle rhythm of your own breath, the quiet pulse of your heart. Feel your body relax, softening with each gentle note. Allow your mind to quiet, releasing any discordant thoughts. This act of attuning to natural harmony brings a profound sense of integration and peace. It allows you to feel connected, balanced, and perfectly at ease, preparing you to surrender completely to the soothing embrace of deep, restorative sleep, cradled by the gentle melodies of your inner and outer world. The bird's song fades gently as the path narrows once more, leading you into an ancient, hushed part of the forest. Here the trees are truly immense, their canopies so dense that only dappled light filters through. Among them, one tree stands out, its trunk impossibly wide, its branches spreading like vast sheltering arms. You feel a profound sense of age emanating from it, a quiet strength that has witnessed centuries. This is an ancient tree, its deep gnarled roots disappearing into the earth, symbolizing the act of connecting to your deep inner wisdom. In our quest for answers and guidance, we often look outward to books, to experts, to external validation. While these sources can be helpful, we sometimes forget that a profound wellspring of wisdom resides within us, a deep knowing that is always accessible, much like the deep roots of this ancient tree. This inner wisdom is not gained through intellectual study, but through quiet introspection and a trust in your own intuitive understanding. Consider the story of a young Zen student who was always seeking advice. He consulted his master, his seniors, and even strangers, constantly asking for their opinions on his dilemmas, large and small. He feared making mistakes and believed that wisdom resided only in those older and more experienced than himself. One day, overwhelmed by conflicting advice, he came to his master deeply confused. "Master," he pleaded, "I have listened to so many wise voices, yet I am more lost than ever. How can I truly know what is right for me? Where can I find the deep inner wisdom that seems to elude me?" The master, instead of speaking, simply led the student to the base of a magnificent ancient tree. Its roots, thick and powerful, visibly anchored it deeply into the earth, despite its towering height. "Look at this tree," the master said. "Its branches reach for the sky, experiencing the winds and the sun. But its true strength, its very life, comes from its roots, which are hidden deep within the earth, drawing sustenance from an unseen source. Does this tree ask other trees for advice on how to grow? Does it consult the wind on where to send its roots?" The student considered this. "No, master. It simply grows, guided by its own nature." "Precisely," the master affirmed. You too possess such roots, a profound inherent wisdom that resides deep within your being, unseen but always present. You have accumulated much knowledge from external sources, like the leaves on the branches, but true guidance, your deep inner wisdom, comes from connecting to your roots. When you are confused, the Master continued, do not immediately rush to external voices. Instead, go inward. Sit in stillness as if you are rooting yourself deep into the earth. Ask the question and then listen not with your ears, but with the quiet awareness of your heart and gut. The answers that resonate most deeply, the path that feels most aligned with your true self, these are the whispers of your own ancient wisdom. Trust this inner knowing. It has guided you throughout your life, even when you weren't fully aware of it, just as the tree's roots guide its growth. The student sat at the base of the tree, feeling its immense quiet power. He realized he had been so busy looking outward that he had forgotten to look inward. He began to practice moments of stillness, asking his questions, and then patiently listening for the quiet, intuitive answers that arose from within himself. Slowly, he discovered that his own inner compass was far more reliable than any external advice, leading him to a newfound sense of confidence and an unshakable peace that came from trusting his own deep truth. As you stand by this ancient tree, allow yourself to feel its profound sense of grounded wisdom. Imagine its deep, powerful roots extending far beneath the surface, connecting it to the very core of the earth. Now bring that image into your own body. Feel a grounding energy drawing you downward, connecting you to your own deep core, a place of innate wisdom and knowing. Let your breath deepen, becoming slow and rhythmic, like the steady, silent growth of the tree. Release any need to seek external validation or solutions. Trust that within you resides a source of profound guidance, a silent knowing that can navigate any challenge. This act of connecting to your deep inner wisdom brings an immense sense of security and a quiet, profound peace. Allow your entire being to settle into this deep inner knowing, preparing you to surrender completely to the soothing embrace of deep, restorative sleep rooted in your own unshakable peace. Moving on from the ancient tree, the path opens up to a vast, expansive sky where fluffy white clouds drift lazily across the azure expanse. They change shape with effortless grace, forming castles, then animals, then dissolving into wisps of vapor, only to reform anew. They do not cling to any particular form, nor do they resist dissolution. This gentle, ceaseless movement of the drifting cloud offers a profound lesson in observing thoughts without judgment, allowing them to pass. Our minds are often like this sky, constantly producing thoughts. Some thoughts are pleasant, some are unsettling, and many are simply neutral observations. However, we often get caught in these thoughts, believing them to be absolute truths, analyzing them endlessly, or trying to push away the uncomfortable ones. This engagement, this clinging or resistance, creates mental turbulence and prevents us from experiencing inner peace. The clouds teach us a different way to simply observe, allowing them to come and go without attachment. There's a well-known Zen analogy about the mind being like the sky and thoughts being like clouds. A student once came to a Zen master complaining, "Master, my mind is full of distracting thoughts during meditation. I try to stop them, but they persist. How can I clear my mind and find peace?" The master smiled gently and pointed to the sky outside where clouds were steadily drifting by. Tell me, he said, does the sky try to stop the clouds from moving? Does it grasp onto the beautiful ones or push away the stormy ones? The student looked up. No, master. The sky simply allows them to pass. And when a cloud passes, the master continued, does it leave a permanent mark on the sky? Does the sky become dirty or diminished by the storm clouds? No, master. The sky remains vast and clear even after the clouds have gone. Exactly, the master affirmed. Your mind is like this vast, clear sky. Your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations, they are like the drifting clouds. They will always arise, and they will always pass. The problem arises not from the thoughts themselves, but from your reaction to them. If you try to stop them, you create struggle. If you cling to the pleasant ones, you create attachment. If you push away the unpleasant ones, you create resistance and suffering. The path to peace, the master explained, is to become like the sky. Simply observe your thoughts without judgment. See them as transient phenomena, like the clouds. Do not follow them, do not engage in their stories, do not label them as good or bad. Just watch them arise, stay for a moment, and then continue on their way. When you learn to let them pass, you discover that the vast open clarity of your mind, your natural state of peace, was always there, untouched by the passing clouds. The student practiced this. Instead of fighting his thoughts, he would simply acknowledge them. Ah, a thought about yesterday, or there's a worry about tomorrow, and then gently return his attention to his breath or to the sensation of sitting. He found that when he stopped wrestling with his mind, the thoughts like clouds naturally began to thin and drift away, leaving behind a profound sense of lightness and peace. As you gaze at the drifting clouds, now allow this powerful teaching to settle within you. Bring your awareness to your own thoughts, whatever they may be. See them as clouds moving across the vast expanse of your mind. You don't need to grab onto them, to analyze them, or to push them away. Simply acknowledge their presence and then gently release your attention, allowing them to continue on their journey. Feel the profound sense of release that comes with this practice. Your mind is not defined by its thoughts. It is that open, clear space in which thoughts appear and disappear. This gentle act of observing thoughts without judgment, allowing them to pass, creates immense inner spaciousness and calm. It allows your mind to unwind, releasing the day's mental clutter and preparing your entire being to sink effortlessly into the deepest, most rejuvenating sleep, surrounded by the boundless clarity of your inner sky. As the last of the clouds drift silently across the vast sky, you notice the landscape around you changing. The path leads you to a marshy area where, despite the muddy ground, something exquisitely beautiful rises from the murky water. It is a lotus blossom, its delicate, pristine petals unfolding gracefully, untouched by the environment from which it emerges. This pure, unblemished flower, rooted in mud, yet blossoming in light, symbolizes the profound act of rising above challenges, with grace, revealing an inherent purity that remains untouched by difficulty. Life often presents us with muddy waters, difficult situations, emotional turmoil, or external pressures that threaten to pull us down or stain our spirits. We might feel overwhelmed or that our inner peace is being corrupted by these challenges. However, the lotus teaches us that it is possible to navigate these difficulties, not by avoiding them, but by allowing them to become the very nourishment for our growth, emerging with even greater beauty and resilience. There is an ancient Buddhist teaching about the nature of suffering and how to transcend it. A young disciple, deeply troubled by the hardships he witnessed in the world and experienced in his own life, approached his master. Master, he lamented, the world is full of suffering and impurity. How can one remain pure and find true happiness amidst such difficulties? The master, without a word, led the disciple to a pond filled with lotus blossoms. The pond itself was murky, its bottom thick with mud, yet the lotuses floated on the surface, their petals gleaming with an ethereal, almost luminous purity. Look closely, the master said, gesturing to the flowers. The lotus blossom grows from the mud, drawing nourishment from it, yet its petals remain perfectly clean, unblemished by the mud. It does not struggle against the mud, it uses it. It does not try to be something other than what it is, rooted in the earth, reaching for the light. Your life, too, the Master continued, will inevitably have its muddy waters, its challenges, its pains, its moments of impurity. If you resist these, if you try to deny them, you will struggle. But if you learn from the lotus, you can rise above challenges with grace. This means acknowledging the difficulties without letting them define you. It means finding the strength within yourself to transform adversity into growth, just as the lotus transforms mud into beauty. Your inner purity, your inherent peace, is not something that can be stained by external circumstances. It is like the lotus petal, always capable of emerging clean and radiant, no matter what it passes through. The disciple gazed at the lotus, a deep understanding washing over him. He realized that purity and peace were not about escaping the world's difficulties, but about cultivating an inner resilience that allowed him to remain untouched by them. He saw that challenges were not necessarily obstacles to happiness, but opportunities for growth and the unfolding of an even deeper inner strength. From that day on, he began to approach his own struggles, not with dread, but with the quiet determination to find the grace and wisdom within them, like the lotus rising from the mud. As you stand in this tranquil marshland, observing the pristine lotus blossoms, allow their effortless elegance to inspire you. Think of any challenges or difficult emotions you might be facing right now. Instead of resisting them, imagine yourself like the lotus, drawing strength and wisdom from them. See yourself rising above, maintaining your inner clarity and grace, even when external circumstances feel messy or chaotic. Feel your body softening, releasing any tension associated with past struggles or future anxieties. With each gentle breath, imagine yourself drawing up nourishing energy from deep within, just as the lotus draws sustenance from its roots. This profound understanding of rising above challenges with grace brings an immense sense of empowerment and a deep, abiding peace. It allows you to feel unshakable, whole, and perfectly serene, preparing you to surrender completely to the soothing embrace of deep, restorative sleep, knowing your inherent purity remains untouched. The marshy garden and its resilient lotus flowers recede behind you, and the air around you grows quiet, a deep, pervasive stillness settling over the landscape. Ahead, through a clearing in the ancient trees, a soft, resonant sound begins to drift on the evening air. It's a deep, sustained thrum of vibration that seems to permeate the very ground beneath your feet. This is the distant temple drum, its rhythmic, gentle beats acting as a timeless call to mindfulness and deep rest, inviting you to return to your inner sanctuary. In our daily lives, we are constantly bombarded by calls to attention, notifications, deadlines, endless demands on our time and energy. These calls often pull us away from ourselves, fragmenting our focus and preventing true relaxation. The temple drum, however, is a different kind of call. It's not urgent or demanding. It's an invitation, a soft summons to come back to the present moment, to reconnect with your breath, and to prepare your body and mind for profound rest. There's a beautiful Zen story about a young village woman who lived a life of constant activity. She worked tirelessly from dawn till dusk, tending to her family, her fields, and her chores. She rarely had a moment to herself and often felt utterly exhausted both physically and mentally. One evening, as she collapsed onto her mat, she heard the faint rhythmic sound of the temple drum from the distant monastery. She often dismissed it as just background noise, but tonight something was different. As the drum's rhythm permeated the quiet night, she found herself listening. It wasn't loud or insistent, but a steady, profound beat. She realized it was a continuous sound always present, yet she only truly noticed it when she paused. She tried to match her breathing to its rhythm, a slow, deep inhale, then a gentle exhale syncing with the drum's steady thrum. As she did this, something remarkable happened. The frantic thoughts about tomorrow's chores, the lingering worries about the past began to quiet. Her shoulders hunched, with the day's burdens began to soften. The next morning she visited the old abbot of the temple. "Master," she said, "last night, for the first time, I truly heard the temple drum. It brought me a peace I have never known. What is its secret?" The abbot, his eyes serene, replied, "My child, the temple drum does not command. It simply calls. It is a reminder that amidst all the noise and activity of life, there is always a deeper rhythm, a fundamental peace that awaits your attention. It calls you not to action, but to presence. When you hear its beat, it is an invitation to come back to yourself, to the present moment, to your breath, the very essence of mindfulness. The drum's gentle thrum," he continued, "is also a preparation for deep rest. It helps to quiet the mind, to slow the heart, allowing the body to remember its natural state of relaxation. It is a lullaby for the soul, preparing you to surrender to the restorative power of sleep, knowing that in true rest you find your renewal." The woman returned to her home with a newfound appreciation for the drum. She began to use its distant sound whenever she heard it as a cue to pause to breathe deeply and to gently return her attention to the present moment. She found that by incorporating these brief moments of mindfulness throughout her day, and especially as she prepared for sleep, her exhaustion began to lift, and a quiet, profound sense of peace took root within her. The drum became her gentle guide, leading her consistently back to a place of inner stillness and deep repose. As you stand here, enveloped by the cool evening air, allow the distant resonant thrum of the temple drum to wash over you. Feel its vibrations gently massaging away any remaining tension in your body from your scalp to your toes. Let its steady, unhurried rhythm become the rhythm of your own breath, slowing and deepening with each beat. This is an invitation to let go of doing and simply be. Allow yourself to fully respond to this gentle call to mindfulness and deep rest. Release any thoughts of the day, any plans for tomorrow. Just listen, feel, and breathe. This profound sense of quiet invitation brings a deep and palpable peace, a serene surrender that prepares your entire being to sink effortlessly into the deepest, most rejuvenating sleep, cradled by the rhythmic, comforting pulse of the distant temple drum. The resonance of the temple drum gradually fades into the vast stillness of the night, leaving behind a profound sense of quietude. The path has now led you to the edge of a perfectly still body of water, mirroring the clear, star-dusted sky above. It is a still pond, its surface unrippled, reflecting everything with absolute clarity: the towering trees, the distant mountains, the infinite expanse of the cosmos, and even your own serene reflection. This still pond's reflection offers the ultimate teaching, discovering your true peaceful self, a self that is always present, always calm, and always whole. In our daily lives, our minds are often agitated like a disturbed pond. The ripples of worries, desires, judgments, and distractions prevent us from seeing clearly both the world around us and our own true nature. We identify with these surface disturbances, believing them to be who we are. But the still pond reminds us that beneath all the agitation, there is an inherent clarity, a fundamental peace that is our true essence. There is a final, simple Zen story about a young student who had completed many years of rigorous training, yet still felt a deep unease. He had mastered meditation techniques, understood complex philosophies, but felt he hadn't truly found himself, hadn't attained that elusive inner peace. He approached his aging master for one last piece of guidance. "Dear master," he said, "I have searched everywhere, done everything, but I still cannot find my true self. Where is it? How do I truly discover my true, peaceful self?" The master, without a word, led the student to a perfectly still pond. He knelt by its edge and gestured to the water's surface. "Look," he said. The student looked into the pond. He saw the clear reflection of the sky, the trees, and then slowly his own face, calm and clear, reflected back. "I see the sky, the trees, and my own face, master," he replied. "And if the wind blows across the water, or if you cast a stone into it, what happens to the reflection?" the master asked. "It ripples, distorts, and disappears," the student said. "And when the wind ceases and the ripples subside, what returns?" the master inquired. "The clear reflection," the student whispered, beginning to understand. "Precisely," the master affirmed. "Your true, peaceful self is like the clear reflection in the still pond. It is always there, vast, clear, and perfectly reflecting all of existence. The winds of life, your thoughts, your emotions, your external circumstances, are like the ripples on the surface. They may temporarily obscure the reflection, but they never diminish the pond itself, nor do they destroy its inherent capacity to reflect clearly. You do not need to find your true self, my child," the master concluded. "You only need to allow the ripples to subside. When your mind becomes still, when you cease casting stones of judgment or clinging to passing reflections, then your true peaceful self is effortlessly revealed. It was never lost. It was simply obscured by the disturbances. This fundamental clarity, this inherent peace, is who you truly are." The student knelt by the pond, gazing into its still depths. He realized he had been trying to find his self as if it were a separate object, a thing to be acquired. But it was always there, the clear space within, waiting for the outer agitation to cease. He felt an immense sense of relief, a profound return to a state he had always longed for, yet had always possessed. He simply needed to be still enough to see it. As you gaze into the still pond's reflection, now allow its perfect clarity to be a mirror for your own inner being. Feel the profound stillness emanating from its unblemished surface. Imagine your own mind becoming as calm and clear as this pond, reflecting all of life without distortion, without judgment, without effort. See your own serene reflection emerging from its depths, a profound acknowledgement of your true, peaceful self. Let this deep realization permeate every cell of your being. Release any lingering tension, any remaining noise in your mind. Feel your body becoming heavy, deeply relaxed, sinking into the profound peace that is your natural state. In this ultimate stillness, you are home, you are whole, you are utterly at peace. Allow this profound acceptance of your true peaceful self to guide you effortlessly into the deepest, most restorative sleep, knowing that this peace is unshakable, a constant presence within you, always. As our journey together tonight draws to a close, feel the soft, lingering echoes of the stories and reflections within you. Remember the gentle wisdom of the unseen path where letting go is not a struggle but a quiet opening. Carry with you the understanding of impermanence, like the bamboo flute's sweet, fleeting echo, allowing you to embrace each moment as it comes and goes. Feel the unshakable peace of the stone Buddha, grounding you amidst life's movements, and the profound interconnectedness of the weaver's thread, reminding you that you are part of something vast and supportive. Allow the silence of the temple bell to continue to resonate within you, a silent space between thoughts where true calm resides. Embrace the freedom of the empty boat, releasing the weight of expectations. Carry the profound calm of the monk's tea ceremony, knowing that mindfulness transforms every ordinary moment into a sacred one. Flow with the gentle river of change, accepting what is, and bend with the wisdom of the willow, resilient and graceful. Let the fleeting beauty of the firefly's glow remind you to savor the present and find comfort in the natural rhythms of the rain, a lullaby for the soul. May the moonlight garden continue to cultivate compassion within you for yourself and for all beings. Embrace the simplicity and contentment of the monk's bowl, discovering true inner wealth in sufficiency. Feel the mountain's steadfastness within your core grounding you in unshakable peace, and attuned to the harmonious song of the bird, reminding you of the balance within and around you. Connect to the deep inner wisdom of the ancient tree's roots, trusting your own profound knowing. And finally, like the still pond, allow your mind to quiet, revealing your true, peaceful self, always present, always clear. As you drift now, gently allow these images and feelings to merge into a single, seamless tapestry of peace. Your body is becoming lighter, yet deeply rooted, softening into the embrace of your inner sanctuary. Your breath is slow, deep, and utterly effortless, a continuous wave of calm. Every muscle is relaxed, every thought gently fading. You are cradled in the profound quietude of your own being, surrounded by unshakable peace. Let go completely. There is nothing left to do, nowhere left to be, but here in this deep, peaceful surrender. Good night.